Good evening, good evening, and good evening. I trust you are having a wonderful Sabbath day. I trust you have a day where you have peace, you have joy, you have fellowship with your family, your friends, or even yourself. The weekend is an opportunity of reflecting and rejoicing and having fun and rekindling a right relationship with yourself and your family. So I trust you are having a great day, and this video will inspire you to have an even greater day. Now, this is number 73 of my model called the Holistic Spiritual Recovery Model. And my agency is Faith in Existence LLC. It is also the title of my ministry. And faith stands for Families Are Important Transformational Habitations. And the object lesson here is reflections. Each and every day, we have opportunities of reflecting, of really seeing the areas of our life that really needs to be stronger. We need to take a stronger hold on sweet Jesus and ask for strength, and or to rekindle the strength within us to lessen the grip of the strongholds of life. We have to remember we were born in his image. In the image of God, he created man and woman. So we have to remember we was created in his image. We have the capacity of being filled up with the spirit, and we have to remember we are called to live in the light. Matthew 5:16 says this, and I'm reading from the King James Version. The Bible says this: let your light so shine before men so that they can see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven. Matthew 5:16, let your light so shine before men so they can see your good works and glorify God, which is in heaven. So the title of this video is called The Peace of God. Now, what is the peace of God? The peace of God is tranquility, harmony, seeing the bigger picture, edifying others, esteeming others, loving unselfishly, loving without conditions, and actually walking as Jesus walked, talking like Jesus talked, always having a connection with God. Each and every day, we are to seek God in prayer for guidance, for delivery, for freedom, for conviction, and for perseverance. So once again, the title of this course is The Peace of God. Number 73, and the object lesson is reflection. Now here are 6 tasks we must do to have the peace of God. And this is taken from Philippians chapter 4, verse 1 to 6. The first one is rejoicing. Rejoice in the Lord always. I will say it again, rejoice. Rejoice means positivity. It's seeing the bigger picture, realizing that God is never and he will never give you anything that's going to overwhelm you. It's seeing the glass halfway full, or I'm seeing this bottle over here. I'm seeing this bottle as being 1/3 full as opposed to being 3/4 empty. You always seeing the positive picture in each and every circumstance. Notice that this text says, rejoice in the Lord always. And I will say again, rejoice. It starts with joy, with rejoice, and it ends with rejoice. And the key word in the middle is rejoicing in the Lord. Think about all the goodness that God has done for you. One of my favorite texts, it says this, what shall we render to God for all his good benefits towards us? We have to keep our minds stayed on the Lord. That's the first task we need to do to have the peace of God. And the second task, this is taken from Philippians chapter 4, verse 5. Let your gentleness be evident to all. The Lord is near. In other words, being gentle. Being gentleness is actually one of the fruits of the Spirit. And remember what John the Baptist says. He, Jesus, must increase, but behold, underlying truth, I need to decrease. In order to be gentle, we got to realize that the heart is internally wicked. The heart is selfish by nature, and gentleness is really esteeming others, valuing others. And when our hearts is undergoing a true transformational experience, you desire to bring light to others. So no matter what the circumstance is, no matter how others are treating you, our behaviors is not predicated on how others are treating us. Our behaviors is predicated on how Jesus treats us. So we are treating others as Jesus treats us. And we got to remember the central issue is the person's behaviors and emotions, is not the person. Everyone was born in the image of God. It's the behaviors and it's the emotions that is concerning. And this text tells us the Lord is near. We have to always realize the Lord is near, and we are called to be a mirror, reflecting the light that the Lord has given us to illuminate others. Philippians 4:6 says, do not be anxious for nothing, but in every situation by prayer and petition with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. Do not be anxious for nothing. Anxiety lives in your subconscious where there is no morality. All your fears are centralized in there, but you got to remember what Timothy says, what Paul says to Timothy, and I believe it's 1 Timothy 1:7. Let me go to my Bible quickly. 1 Timothy, 1 Timothy 1:7. 1 Timothy 1:7, and it says this, for God hath not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and a sound mind. So anxiety falls under the umbrella of fear, right? And that exists in your subconscious. But our subconscious, which does not have any morality, doesn't reign supreme in our brain. Our frontal lobes, which have our consciousness, which is called God's command system, should overrule our subconscious. And it is there that where we understand that we do not have the spirit of fear, but we have power. And power actually is Jesus. We have love, understanding unconditional love through Jesus. And the sound mind is through Jesus. Jesus is our example. In 1 Peter 2:21, we are called to follow his example so we will not be anxious for nothing. Now, there are times you will be anxious, but resiliency is the ability to bounce back in the midst of adversity, or meekness, enduring injury with patience, right? And this requires a daily connection with the Lord so you can understand that it's time to rejoice, it is time to be gentle, for we have nothing to be anxious about when we are connected to the Lord. But in every situation, we are called to pray and to present our petitions before the Lord. Each and every day in the morning, Jesus prayed to the Lord. He went to the highest elevation around him, usually a mountain, and he prayed to the Lord. We are called to pray to the Lord in the morning, throughout the day, stay connected with God, and remember to partner with Jesus in everything you do. So the first, we are called to rejoice. Secondly, we are called to be gentle. And third, we are called not to be anxious for nothing. These are the 6 tasks we must do to have the peace of God, right? The fourth thing we are to do is to prayer and petition with thanksgiving, which is also part of prayer and petition. So we are to have a contrite heart in the spirit of gratitude and thanksgiving. We present our prayers and petitions before God. And lastly, we present our request to God. Even the smallest issue, God is concerned about everything that we do. And when we speak to God, this is the greatest counsel in the world, presenting your petitions before God. So rejoice, be gentle, in all that you do. Don't be anxious for nothing. Put your prayer and petition with thanksgiving before the Lord. And lastly, present your request to God. And if you do these 6 things, and the peace of God in Philippians 4:7 tells us, which transcends all understanding, will guard our hearts and our minds in Jesus Christ. Now, we just discussed the 6 tasks we must do to have the peace of God in Philippians chapter 4, verse 8 to 9. And once again, this is from the King James Version. These are 12 tasks we must do to sustain godly peace. First, we are called to obtain the peace of God. Now, this is what we need to do to sustain godly peace. Godly peace. Philippians 4:8 tells us, finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is pure, number 1, anything that is true, where everything is true, we are to follow the example. Whatever is noble, we are to follow the example. Whatever is right, we are called to follow that example. That's number 3. Whatever is pure, follow the example. Whatever is lovely, number 5, follow the example. Number 6, whatever is admirable, follow the example. If anything is excellent or praiseworthy, follow that example. Think about such things. Meditate about such things. In your prayer, in that vertical relation with the God, you think about these things and ask yourself, how can I, by the power of God, live in these examples? Whatever you have learned in the Bible, whatever you have received, whatever you heard from Jesus or seen in others who are going down the same road as you, put it into practice, and the peace and the God of peace will be with you. We are called to have a vertical relationship with God, which is played out horizontally. And when we practice this every day, then we will start to have the peace of God. Remember, Isaiah chapter 55, verses 8 and 9, Jesus says, for my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my thoughts and my ways higher than yours. So we are called to think analytically, to think holistically, to think critically. We are called to slow down our emotions. Do not allow our emotions to override us, but we are to slow ourselves down and see the bigger picture in order to have the peace of God. We have to rejoice. 6 tasks we must do. Once again, we need to rejoice. We need to be gentle. We need to be anxious for nothing. We need to present our prayer and petitions with thanksgiving before God, and we let all of our concerns be known to God in prayer. And the 12 tasks we must do to sustain this godly peace, we need to be truthful. We need to be noble. We need to follow whatever is right. We need to be pure, lovely, admirable, excellent, or praiseworthy in all we do. And whatever we have learned, received, heard, and seen, put it into practice. Remember, the theme of this ministry, of my counseling experience, is to strive for perfection while we settling for excellence. I hope you enjoyed this short presentation this evening. And once again, it's called The Peace of God, number 73 in my holistic spiritual recovery motto. And the object lesson is reflections. Remember, every Wednesday, I'm going on live between the hours of 8 and 9 Eastern Standard Time. And I'm also available for consultations and for counseling. Have a great day, and remember, let your light so shine before men so they can see your good works and glorify God, which is in heaven. Have a great evening.